politics and it's sexual politics basically.
Sure.
And I feel like in London, when I was making work, I wasn't being quite so blunt with how explicit I'm being about my opinions about things. And then moving to...
Bem, let's start this. Today, we have the most glamorous episode on the whole podcast.
He's not lying.
Lizzie, the only one.
The one day I'm not wearing a pair of heels, so you can't actually introduce me as that anymore, I'm afraid.
Yes, you can.
Okay,
it's like you can introduce yourself by those nails.
Oh, yeah.
They're pretty majestic.
Thank you, darling. They're brand new colourway. We've got nice teal with a neon orange on the inside. So super glam.
Super glam.
Super glam. Super
But
glam.
It suits you.
Thank you, darling.
But the deal is like everyone that sees Lizzie for the first time, and they're like on the outside, they're like, how does she do with those nails?
No, that's the first thing anybody ever says.
Yeah. I didn't ask because I'm sure everyone asks that
what?
for you. But
Okay,
so,
what's the first question you're gonna ask about the nails? It's the same with everybody.
now that you're saying it's something like in the realm of cleaning yourself. Or
How do you wipe
that?
your ass with nails like that? And I'm always like, how do you wipe your ass? Are you doing something that like you don't put your entire finger in your bumhole to wipe your ass?
Don't you?
It
You
depends.
know?
Depends on the people.
Unless you're zigzag.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then you smell.
Zigzag! Oh my god, what podcast am I on?
So
What have I been lured into under false
we're already
pretenses?
trash talking.
Restart.
No, we're already in a good mood in the first
It's
minute.
actually a medical journal.
Yeah. But
Biology and medicine podcast.
Yeah.
what do your poop taste? No, seriously. No, but that's the whole thing about the podcast is not taking too serious.
Well, evidently you're the host.
Yes.
That's why the name.
You're getting fucking trashed here, mate.
No.
Look, you invited me on. What do you
Yeah,
expect?
so-
She can do anything. She's the
Queen.
Yeah,
yeah. She rules this. So
the most glamorous, sure.
so So for you what's the main thing that really gets in the way with those nails?
In your life basics.
Opening cans of beer.
Yeah, that must
That's difficult. You need to use a car key.
Oh yeah.
And you just put it under. So that where there's a will, there's a way. Do you know what I mean?
There's always a way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or you just say to someone, please, can you open this for me? And be like a total princessa. Total princessa. Depends on the company. Depends on the crowd.
That it makes all the sense, and then we always have the glamorous color nails on Lizzie.
You have to. You have to.
You have
It's necessary.
Otherwise
If
it
I
won't
roll a
make any
cigarette, is
sense.
that gonna fuck with your audio?
What?
If I roll a cigarette, is that
Oh
gonna
no,
be
for
really
sure. It's
annoying
like
for your audio?
no, you feel completely free
And it can be a little bit silent now. And you
to do
A
the.
bit of like
really
rolling ASMR.
ASMR, exactly.
I don't know if you.
Yeah,
Yeah, is that nice?
yeah, it
Is
definitely.
I
that
don't
doing-
really understand the point of ASMR. Is it like
is
a
it doing
kink
that
thing?
for-
Is it a kink thing?
I think
ASMR?
there's a kink for
There's a kink for
everyone,
everything, right?
For everything, for everyone. So I don't know. I'm not really a fan of it, but
Oh well, there we go.
Maybe it's
We're
more
not
like a love
prejudiced.
item. It's so.
Like a little crinkle into the microphone. That's nice, isn't it?
No, but anyways,
Sorry.
this is why it made the whole sense for you to be our first English guest on the show.
Why?
It made all the sense. First because it's
Set the tone. Arseholes and smoking.
yeah, and then it's Lizzie. You know, like Lizzie's a person that you know when she shows, like when she arrives. I even noticed that I was like here on the back, and I just hear you outside. You're all right, Lizzie's here. You know.
No, everyone always says you can hear me before you see me.
Sure.
that's a powerful
It's real.
statement.
It's real. It's
Yeah,
real.
it's real.
Yeah.
No, and then that made all the sense, and because we're going to have like in a couple days or second episode in English, and makes all the sense for me. Because for me, it made more sense doing it in English than in Portuguese somehow.
But it's more helpful for me. 'Cause I can
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
understand your questions.
So what we do, we just we ask our first guest to be person that you know and that make all the sense, no filters.
Pois.
Push.
Anyways,
That was perfect.
I heard
you.
that you're Portuguese now.
I finally
2
got
years
my
later?
finally got my card from Seth.
Fuck yeah.
I'm fully legal.
No more illegal.
No. Oh, you're fully legal.
Fully legal.
You're like
fully
your
legal.
residency
I've
thing?
got a card with a squashed picture of my face on it.
Cool. Because it's prohibited.
You
to...
can't have a normal photo that's
Yes.
not been squished, like on a legal document, obviously.
Obviously.
So I look utterly deranged on it, which is probably it's probably good because like the amount of times you're going through the airport and you're
Yeah, you look like shit.
you look like shit anyway, so it's probably quite good.
You can laugh, you can do all these things. For how many years are you in Portugal?
That's a good question. 2.5 years.
2.5. All right. Also,
October 2020. 1st of October 2020 is when I arrived here.
you came
And
in.
now we're January 2023, so 2 and a bit.
Fucking hell. Still in the making.
I know.
We should celebrate it. Well, anyways, it's easier than probably doing the hard that you do in London, right? Like, it's easy to do here in Portugal.
What do you mean? The art?
The whole thing, yeah, living from it. Especially your heart was super kinky, but
I think the thing is in Portugal it feels very reserved. Reserved, yeah, very reserved, very very traditional, and a lot of my work is talking about sex and sexual politics and gender politics and like it's sexual politics basically.
Sure.
And I feel like in London when I was making work I wasn't being quite so blunt with how explicit I'm being about my opinions about things, and then moving to Portugal and experiencing some quite chauvinistic attitudes and some very old school traditional patriarchy all day, every day, whether you're in a shop or you're on a date, to such an extreme like level compared to what I had in London. I was like even more pissed off.
Yes.
And the more pissed off I am, the more direct and more explicit and more blunt the artwork becomes. And I'm like, okay, well, you're not getting it when I'm speaking this to you verbally. You're not getting it if I'm doing it in a more abstract or softer, just suggesting these topics.
Yeah.
So if I start, really doing it in a very obscenely clear way, then surely there's no reading between the lines. It's as clear as fuck.
Yeah.
And if you still are gonna behave like that towards me, then you're gonna be in the next piece of art.
Yes.
Like, you have been warned. Like,
So in a way, Portugal really inspired you.
yeah, I mean, the topics in the work have always been there for the past decade, right?
Yeah.
But the way that I'm translating my narrative and my opinions and my feelings are now being presented in a much more direct and blunt, explicit way. Like my art, like you obviously used the word kinky, like there had been exhibitions and pieces of work in London that, in like reviews and stuff that said, what did someone said, grungy, sticky, sexy, kinky art was like a write-up that I got once, and I was just like, yeah, I love that. That's fucking good. That's fucking good. But it wasn't all the time that this kind of idea of like kink or sex would come up immediately in somebody's reading of the work. It would be an undertone that was very much there, but not like directly in the
not the
forefront.
main,
Exactly.
But that's a cool thing about your heart, I think, especially like knowing you and then knowing the stuff that you do, and in the exhibitions, people at least maybe know you for even for a few minutes, and they can all say, yeah, this was made by Lizzie, you know, like
Yeah.
the ashtray, smoking and snogging are my best. Is it my
My
passion?
favorite hobbies.
No, my favorite hobbies, exactly. Yeah.
It's amazing.
And then like with the two humanoid things kissing, because I don't know, I feel it. That's the way that I feel them. Usually when people goes to art, like your painting stuff, it's like you have to be perfect, you have to be, I don't say Picasso, but the images has to be great.
Yeah.
And you have everything but great in a way, you know, like, because the thing that you make, you can't make two pieces the same way. Like there is always a misshape in there, and that's super cool because you're having something.
Yeah, each thing's
Yeah.
you know, unique in its own thing always. But yeah, moving to Portugal definitely, you know, amped up how. Like I've made the work more transparent, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like there's no subtlety. I mean, there wasn't that much subtlety in my work to begin with, but now there is zero subtlety to it at all.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's actually really liberating.
There's something that you were looking for, or just
No, it just happened. But I mean,
Yes.
that happens like wherever you go. I mean, I did, like when I was still at art school, I did 6 months study abroad, and I lived in Iceland, in Reykjavik, for 6 months. And that was a massive like shift and turning point in my work and my practice. I didn't realize it at the time, but by
Yes.
being in a different environment, a different location with different like visual
People,
stimuli, different conversations with different people from different parts of the world, that does impact your
course.
work, like whatever happens, whether you're conscious and aware of it or not, that's going to impact it, whatever happens. So I kind of knew that moving to Portugal would have some impact or like transition element to the work, but you don't know what it's going to be until it happens.
Until it happens, until
Yeah.
you're there, until you're like you finish some pieces and you can like
And you have
look
time
back.
to reflect. And
Yes.
What
yes,
did you
yes.
study back in UK? You did.
fine art, so at St Martin's and Chelsea, so
Yeah.
like both London schools.
But was that you found your way to, or you already had your way this way?
But so when
I'm saying this
was-
because I have like this one friend that he does body modification, and he went to study with a dude.
Yeah.
But then in the middle he said, "This is not what I want." Then he found another dude, and he said, "Yeah, this is what I really want to learn." And then if he finished learning with the other one, and then moved because at some point he found his way, you know.
Yeah, no, so the way that the courses are run are like completely like open, basically. So you go,
Okay.
you do fine art, but if you want to do painting, if you want to do sound, if you want to do video, if you want to do sculpture or performance, you can do whatever the fuck you
Yeah.
want. And
Oh,
they're
that's,
just kind
that's
of...
awesome.
Yeah, and they don't like, you don't have classes, you don't have lessons, you don't have, this is how you draw an apple, this is how you draw a body, this is how you draw, you don't have like the traditional like technical like lessons. They just put you in a big room, you work out how to function in a studio with your peers, and then they just like leave you to your own devices. And then like every once in a while they'll come and completely rip your work to shreds.
Awesome. Yes.
Rip
You
it
piece
apart.
of shit, what you doing here?
And you know, and then that's when you realize, I think, actually no, fuck you, I do believe in what I'm making. I'm making it for a reason, and this is something I feel
Is it-
strongly about. And then you learn to like
To stand your ground.
stand your ground, but also take it and turn it into dialogue, right? Like the important thing. So you can sit in many places as an artist, right? You either want to just like make something that looks pretty and aesthetically pleasing, whack it on a wall, and someone goes, that's cute, that's going to look nice in my kitchen. Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lovely. Or you want to go to the complete other end of the spectrum and you're like, okay, I'm making a personal or a political or a social or environmental standpoint,
Yeah.
and this is something I believe really strongly about, and I want to use my creative intuition to channel this narrative and dialogue
that's the whole
and
thing.
conversation, right?
Yeah, that's the whole thing behind art, I think.
And but it can sit anywhere you want within that spectrum. So it can be, a still life of a bowl of fruit for somebody's kitchen, or it can be, some like hardcore piece of performance art, which is, got loads of oomph behind it and is a massive political statement and gesture. Like, anything within the spectrum is totally cool and fantastic, but I think like going to art school makes you
to get your idea and defend it, like
aware of how to like formulate and think about it critically. Okay, so fine, my idea that I wanted to come across in this piece of work isn't coming across. Thank you for letting me know that it's not delivering in that way. I think I want to maybe try a different medium because that might make it easier for me to get my message across, or do it with some more pizzazz, or maybe it's too obvious. Maybe I want to keep something away from the audience and make them work harder for it, kind of thing.
Does that process happens like everywhere now? Like the thing that everyone goes to fucking room and discover, like you said, is it?
Yeah. So you have like a it's called a crit. And everybody in your like peer group, you make a piece of work at the end of the term or something. You have an exhibition, and then everybody has a discussion about it.
Shit. And then like after that you start work. You said once to me you were working for someone and you were like just being assistant after you finished school, or was like during the school? I remember you told me that.
I've done that. I've assisted a couple of artists. There's a guy called Richard Wilson. He's a really cool artist, British sculptor, making like mad shit. I had a great time like helping him do stuff. And then there was another artist, awesome sculptor called Karen Tang. She's wicked. And so did a little bit of work assisting her as well. But that's like good fun stuff. Like that's really fun.
Okay.
Like
you just go in there.
You just go and like help them make some stuff, install some stuff.
But you wanted to make your own things since day one, right?
Oh yeah, like forever.
Because there are people that are assistants your life, you know?
No, forever. But that's a great way for like if you are coming out of like art school or something, to like assist some artists or help people out, because you learn new techniques, new skills. I mean, like working with Karen Tang, we were using fiberglass on some massive sculptures. Like without doing that, I wouldn't have learned how to do fiberglassing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's stuff like that, which is, I mean, that's cool. That's like, you want to learn how to do stuff like that.
There's no like, as you were saying, there's no like given course or curriculum or anything. So yeah, you might not pick up some stuff here, but you just keep learning.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's all self-directed, right? You kind of get out of like an art degree what you want to put into it. Yeah. Like it sounds really cringe, but it's like really real.
But it is what it is.
But it is. If you want to go and learn, okay, cool, I want to, I don't know, make something out of ceramic. You go to the ceramic workshop and you say to the technician, hey, I want to do X, Y, or Z. Or you go to the metal workshop and I've got an idea. Here's my drawing. Here's my sketch. Yeah. These are the dimensions. This is what I want to do. Please, can you show me how to weld? They're like, yeah, I will. Amazing. But then there's loads of people that come out of art school and they're like, they went to art school and it was a waste of my fucking life. And I'm like, well, did you like activate yourself and try to make the most out of the situation? It's your fucking debt. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's expensive to go to school in England. It's like 9K a year. Like, that's your debt. Like,
that's super expensive. Everyone, like, I have this cousin, she's like a scientist, and she got like the first year. It wasn't she got like a scholarship, but not that good. Lucky for her that her parents could pay for it.
Yeah.
But I remember it was super expensive. She was paying like 600 for a room, I think, was something like that, plus the fees. But eventually she's like super smart, and then she got a full scholarship, but she was still paying for the room.
yeah, I mean, I've got, I don't know what it is, it's something disgusting, like £85,000 worth of student debt.
Exactly.
Oh, that's.
I'm never going to pay it back.
Yeah, it's like the American way.
I'm never going to pay it back. I don't care. It's just like...
It's just there.
It's just there. It's getting more and more every year. It's, you know, a cumulative interest. But who gives a shit? I'm never going to pay him back.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like everyone wants to go to study too.
Yeah, fuck.
It was their stupid decision for like tripling the cost of fees within 1 year. Like, it's daft shit. Anyway, that's English politics for you.
And then you came to Portugal, where is summer every day for you, right? Like,
pretty much. It's January. I'm not wearing any tights.
See,
so.
ta-da. And how many degrees are like in London? Like less 30,
Yeah, well, it was like
500?
snowing last week, so it was a lot. Yeah, cold.
Do you have plans to coming back to UK?
No, not unless it's
Worth it.
Yeah, well, I know. I mean, I don't see myself moving back to England anytime soon.
Right.
I mean, it's a shit show there right now.
Yeah, it's pretty depressing there.
It's depressing. Like all the Brexit shit, the government shit, everything's shit.
And then, people are so lucky, like in Portugal, because everyone speaks English everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, it makes learning Portuguese a much slower.
And harder.
Much harder thing,
because you don't really need it, right?
Because I try and speak some Portuguese, and then...
But then people are like, oh, that's so cute, darling. Yeah, let's speak in English.
Or just laugh, and I'm like, oh, well, that's really encouraging. Thank you so much. Thank you. Like, I was in a fucking pastelaria the other day, and I like did my best Portuguese. I ordered a coffee and a cake, and he just looked at me, and I was like, what? And he just said, if you speak English, why are you even trying to speak Portuguese? And I said, because I live here and I'm trying to at least learn the language.
But people don't know.
And he was just like, yeah, well, I don't really see the point just speaking English.
It's because people don't really reckon that you guys are living here. I think the same way that you said that your heart was like probably not that well accepted for our culture. I think Lisbon grew up so fast in the tourism that nobody.
I know, but
adjusted in time yet. You know,
it's like you feel like you can't win. You know, you say you live somewhere, you try and learn the language, you then try and practice the language and and show willing, and then he was just like, why are you doing? Why are you bothering to do that? And I just went, eu morei aqui. And he was just like...
we are probably the only country in Europe or in the world that like accept the people, try to learn their language. And because my parents went to France to live and they learn French. Everyone goes everywhere and they learn because probably like around Sweden or so, they really talk good English. Maybe they have the same thing. You don't really need to learn their language.
Depends on the environments as well. Like I have plenty of friends. There are scientists and they are working abroad in different labs, and they don't have to learn the language because everyone in the lab are speaking English.
Yeah.
So I had this friend who did his whole PhD in Germany in München. And he only knew like some stuff in German. Like his day-to-day was like English even at work. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Do you know something good that before you were saying about the heart and the political stuff? I think that your stuff it's not like look at this. You know, it's not that direct. You make a thing. He has the political stuff and all the stuff behind it, but it's a way different. I like that type of art where you're not just exposing the stuff, you know. It's like it's funny because you can look at it and think the way that it is. But yeah, I think
you want it to be a bit like multifaceted. It's
Different tastes.
exactly, and like
making
like
a
I say,
pussy
like,
bag.
exactly the pussy bag and the pussy shoes. I mean,
Yeah.
they are. There is obviously like humor in them, but then the pussy bag and the pussy shoe, it's also a little bit of like a commentary on fast fashion, fast pussy.
Yeah.
Basically, like you got your Tinder, your boys ghosting, your like pick up, drop off, like attitude towards like sex and relationships. It's like, okay, cool. Well, she's hot for the minute. She looks good. Great. I'm gonna hook up with her. Oh, tick. Like having, okay, I've got a Gucci bag. I've got a Louis Vuitton belt. I've got a pair of Louboutins and a Balenciaga pair of sunglasses, right? And it's almost like ticking off the designer labels that you have in your wardrobe is a bit like ticking off like these girls. I mean, I guess it can work, but I'm just saying it from like my perspective as a heterosexual woman. I'm sure some men feel the same way that maybe women are doing that to them. But there's this kind of like disposability of, you know, relationships or sexual situations that you're having with somebody with the same thing as kind of like fast fashion. It's like kind of like one use, throw it away kind of bullshit attitude that has somehow manifested itself into relationships and like human beings' interaction with each other. It's fucked up.
Now just saying that, like I feel especially in that type of people, it's like they don't have like I don't think it's like self-confidence, self-esteem, because they're like let me wear this ultra expensive shit so this makes me beautiful, you know, and then they're like running after to see who has the same thing because it's like money is beautiful stuff, you know.
Yeah, and in a way you're belonging.
Can you
to
just adjust
something.
the mic please a little bit? Thank
Sorry.
you. Can you
I don't know if I can.
You have to like
Come on, I'm a princess. I need an assistant for this shit. How do you do that? Amazing. See, there we go. Perfect. It's amazing when you know how.
Yeah.
It's amazing when you know how.
Back.
But it's
So we're back.
calling it pussy as commodity.
Yeah.
Pussy as commodity.
You have something like that, right?
And I
think
don't dig it.
You did something with that quote, I think.
Probably something very similar.
Yeah.
I just.
I'm almost sure that you did something like that. Well, anyways.
No, but it's
it really roars. It's a strong statement, but yeah, I think it goes well with the other things that you're trying to explain and to exploit as an artist.
But it's super nice because it's like, and this is the part that I like about you and about your art, is that you can make this art and have your opinion, but accept in the same time, or being open enough just to everyone accepts it, you know, in both ways. Because that's the thing that bores me almost every time. It's people have their opinion and everything is wrong. And if it's not this, it's wrong, you know. And it's nice because we can chat about it. And we can have different opinions about it.
I mean, 100%. I mean, for me, that's why I want to make work, is to have conversations with people, right? Not everyone's opinion and feedback is going to be the same thing.
Yes.
With the same attitude. But by making a piece of work that makes somebody have a conversation about something, well, then I'm thrilled. I don't care if you like the work. I'm thrilled if you don't like the work. I couldn't give give a flying fuck if you like it or not. But if you then turn around and have a conversation with someone and be like, that crazy bitch Lizzie, oh, what? I think she's a man-hating bastard. I'm not a man-hating bastard, but you having a conversation about that. What about my work has triggered that response in you?
Yeah.
Like, what has made you think that I'm a man-hating witch?
I feel more.
That's your insecurities and your issues with your views on women and society and the way the world works, that you think that I'm a man-hating human witch woman.
I feel that you're more the opposite. You're
But no, but this is it. Yeah, but this is what I mean. Like for somebody to have that stance about me and my work says more about them and their position and attitude towards women and society than it speaks volumes about them, right? So by somebody having that response to my work then opens up another dialogue with that person, and then somebody else can turn around and say, why do you think she's a man-hating witch? Oh, because she's making work about guys being disrespectful to women, and I don't think men are disrespectful to women. And then the other person can say, okay, right, that's nice that you think that. But maybe we could educate you with some facts and figures about sexual assault or domestic violence and things like that. No one's saying that every man or every woman or every single person is exactly the same. But just from you having that initial response is speaking volumes about your own opinions, and that maybe they should be checked in on. Just saying. But then it's starting a conversation and an education and
different points of views, at least.
Exactly, it's starting a narrative and a dialogue. So anything that can start a narrative or a dialogue or a conversation, I'm thrilled.
Because most people sometimes someone can have a response like that, but maybe sometimes people don't think too much about things outside of their comfort zone. So maybe you can get a response like that from a person who says, she hates men, but maybe they never stopped in thought for a minute. Maybe I'm not being the one who,
Totally.
How do you feel about the offended people about everything? It's like, come on, nowadays everyone's offended by everything. Does people get offended with you, especially on the internet, because they have more power somehow on the internet?
Yeah, I don't know if people necessarily are offended by my work,
or attacking in a way.
But I mean, I think for every person it's Someone said. I mean, it was a guy that I had been dating in Lisbon.
Lizzie dates.
And I said something to him, and we were having a conversation. I mean, he fucked up big time, and then we were having a conversation about that. And I said, well, the reason why you're behaving like this is because you didn't get what you wanted in the bedroom, right? That's why you're behaving like a dickhead now, right? That's why. Because I said no. I said no. I didn't let you have what you wanted, right? And that has bruised your ego. Why does everything have to be about sex with you? I was like, the reason we're having this conversation is because it has stemmed from that. Your work is about sex. You're making arguments about sex. Everything's about sex. And I'm like, no, you're using one situation that's happened between the two of us, which has been around sex, okay? And I've damaged your ego because I've said no. Instead of you respecting my boundaries and respecting that a woman can say no to a man, even though she's consented to having sexual intercourse with them at some point. No is a no, right? Yeah. So now that happened one time, but now you continually bringing this up
instead of trying to work
at
things
any
out.
opportunity. I feel then saying it's not my fault. You've got emotional issues, darling. Are you fucking kidding me? And then this is a kind of person that's going to turn around and go, oh, she's a man-hating,
Yeah,
she's a
bitch,
man-hating
cunt.
witch. Look at all of her work. She's talking about men disrespecting women and she's just talking out of her asshole. When I know for a fact that you are an asshole.
Yeah,
It's only the people that are...
But that's the thing, like, people see you literally making pussies and dicks every day. They must be, oh shit, this one is super easy. You just need to say hi and she's there.
Well, I mean, this is what I think is the problem in Portugal. It's really like you show that you're willing to have an open conversation about sex, right?
Yeah.
And I want to do that for sex education purposes, right? Though if something's a taboo like sex or anything like that, the more taboo there is, the more bad behavior that comes attached to it, right? If you look at, religion, the church, all of these kinds of things, you can't talk about that. That's taboo. If no one's having a conversation about it, nobody learns and bad behavior continues. It perpetuates, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Nobody feels like they can talk about it. Nobody learns. Nobody is educated. People that are like a victim or something like that, feel like they can't talk about it, and then the cycle perpetuates, right?
But in a way, it's like some people are not educated, but it's super hard to educate because it takes a good person in many ways to educate, and just to have open conversations.
Right, exactly. So if I can chuck a ceramic pussy on the wall or do a painting that's talking about sex but has like maybe a humorous undertone, which creates like a entry point, no pun intended, entry point for the discussion. Well, like I said, that's a win-win for me. Like, again, I don't care if you don't like the artwork or what it looks like, but if you leave my exhibition or whatever thinking, oh wow, okay,
just thinking,
oh that's a bit fucked up. Okay, maybe when I'm walking home late at night and it's dark and I see a girl walking on her own, maybe I won't walk so close to her. Maybe I'll cross the road and give her some space. Like,
and then you've been doing some workshops, right?
That makes me very sorry. I just remember that makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Like I'm walking near a girl at night, and like, I can't walk too fast because then she will think.
Yeah, but
it's. I try to say.
You just say hello to her. Hi, darling.
Zigzag. Yeah. No, but I mean, but even this is a conversation. That's brilliant because you're already thinking about it. There's a lot of men in this world that don't think about it, right?
Yeah, because men rule the world.
Obviously, absolutely.
I'm so glad I won.
So, but that's, I mean, this whole exhibition I had in London in the autumn was called Dober Woman, right? And the whole premise.
Sorry? No, I
Dober Woman. So, like a
dominatrix Lizzie.
No, not dominatrix.
But you showed them with
Dober Woman. So there's a breed of dog called a Doberman.
Doberman. Okay.
And then I just changed it to Dober Woman.
Okay. Doberman, dominatrix.
Dober Woman, zigzag.
Yeah.
And
you showed up there with the Doberman head,
with a massive mask.
Yeah.
And so basically, a Doberman dog was the first breed of dog to be bred specifically for personal security, right?
Okay.
So the man, Mr. Doberman, right? He's a bit like you naming your podcast after yourself. He named his dog after himself, and he was a tax collector in Germany, I think, in 1800s or something like that. And he was going around collecting all of the money at the end of the day from all these businesses, and was walking home with, loads of cash and felt unsafe walking home on his own at night. So he developed a breed of dog to protect himself from men that might attack him on his way home with all of this money, right? So it's like the Doberman becomes really, because before that, dogs were, bred to secure property or livestock, right?
Or to hunt also. So,
Exactly, or to hunt. This was specifically bred to protect a person instead of a property or livestock, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you go, okay, cool. a man having the same feeling as like when I'm walking home on my own, I have to be my own guard dog, right? Whether if I'm walking home on my own on a night out, I have to be aware. Okay, who's walking around? I can't be too drunk walking home because someone might take advantage. You have to be aware, right? You have to be your own Doberman dog, right? So then
your own
it's Doberwoman is like personifying this like or like realizing this kind of like switch in your character or your behavior, which is a reality for your own protection in certain situations like that when you're walking home or you're in a club or you're walking down a dark street or something like that.
But you feel safe in Portugal, right?
Safer than London, but you still have to be in Doberwoman mode when you're in those situations, right? Yeah. And when I did this show, so that's kind of like the premise of like that's kind of the concept. Do you know what I think?
Not that just saying that this is probably going to be This is going to be like I don't know, but I feel that the group of people that are like working against it, they are not doing a good job. It's like you make more for maybe the woman rights with your heart and the way that you think than the people that publicly fight for it. Because I feel everyone is looking for the same rights, but in the end, it's like not only in women but in general, everyone is trying to fight for the same rights, but in the end they're trying to be better than the thing they're fighting. Do you agree with me? No,
I don't agree with that. I think everyone's doing their bit to do like their things that don't happen overnight, right? So my way of doing my bit looks more immediate because it's visual, right? I do a painting, you see it straight away. I'm communicating my idea, bam, bam, bam. It's there. It's on your Instagram. It's on your website. Blah 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 blah. I'm having a conversation with you now about it. It's immediate, right? Whereas somebody that's working on legislation or with charities or with community projects and stuff, that's really important stuff, but it's not visual in an immediate way, right?
It's stuff that keeps adding up.
It's accumulative. Whereas like doing something with, visual art or something, that's bam, 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 have a conversation with it, go. All these other, legislation, rules, laws, community projects, that's all happening all the time, and that's the most important thing. But you can't, everything, it's like cooking a big meal. You need all the ingredients to make the meal at the end, right? You need all the elements.
But as you said, like cooking the meal, if you add the right amount of things in the recipe, like sauces and that thing, it works. And I feel that maybe most of the times doesn't work. I don't know. Anyways, again, you do some workshops, right? Let's promote yourself, Lizzie.
Promote yourself.
Let's make Zigzag's podcast English version episode. First woman in my podcast. Well, there is not that many guests yet, but we're going to have a second one. But you are the first, so two firsts for you. First English one, first woman.
Stunning.
And the most fabulous episode, maybe.
Yeah,
because
the longest nails.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All the
winning
top ones
all
for
over.
now.
Yeah. Winning all over. Workshops. I do workshops, ceramic workshops here.
Where can people find you?
Instagram, Elizabeth Prentis. And then my studio's in Shebregash.
What was
Could you say that again?
At Elizabeth Prentis. You can also find my website, www.elizabethprentis.com.
Hell yeah.
.com.
That was very satisfying.
You moved to a new studio.
I did indeed. Yeah, in Shebregash, which is exciting.
All right.
I just moved this week. So I've just been unpacking boxes. Today was actually the first day when I actually started making anything in the studio, which feels good.
It's very special.
How does it feel to move to a new home?
Yeah, it's good. It takes a little while to settle in, but the other artists in the space are really great. So I'm excited to see kind of
finally you settle yourself, maybe, right?
Pardon?
Finally you settle yourself, because the first studio you stayed there for like a month. more or less. It was just a couple weeks, right? The first time you
Yeah,
arrived.
so it's I mean it's kind of like every year I've been here, has been a new studio every year.
Yeah.
Plus a million different apartments and stuff. So it'll be nice to
Settle in.
like find that hopefully this space has got a bit more like longevity to it compared to the other places that I was at, and can actually kind of grow some roots in there instead, which would be really nice.
Do you feel yourself there for a while now?
Yeah, I mean I don't want to. I mean it's only been a week. I've only been there a week, but I want to stay.
You tried to move
but
before.
I want to stay. Yeah, I want to stay there. A long
You tried
time.
to move before. You never found anything.
I mean,
like.
oh fuck! I've been looking for a new studio since last February, and it's January now.
Oh,
So that's
sure.
like 11 months that I've been trying to look for just a suitable studio, right? Something that's got enough space, is in the right part of town, has got all the things that you need, is big enough, and
All the good ones
and that
are
you can
occupied.
afford, because the studio prices here are ridiculous.
Everything, yeah.
It's like you have to turn your home.
Mm-hmm.
You still live with Elu?
Mm-hmm.
She's still doing this. She's still there in.
Shout out to Elu, my wifey.
Hey. She does like actually I was thinking about her like yesterday maybe, because I saw some dude on YouTube. He went to some islands that I don't remember, and they do the type of tattoo more or less that she does.
Nice.
It's not the same thing, but it's similar to it. I was like, oh shit, probably we're going to like this, but
Wow.
she's still in the same
Send her
place,
the link.
right?
Yeah.
Because the last time that I was there, she wasn't there, so I was like,
Yeah.
she's still here.
Yeah.
Fuck
she's
yeah!
still
Shout
about.
out to Elu. What time is it? Shit, we're doing this for 3 hours now.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. Time
3
flies.
3 hours and a half.
What? What time is it?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's
no.
late.
I just wear this for
Just
drip.
for the ladies.
It's
Just
got
for the
no
drip.
battery in it.
Yeah, and it says 4X there. Anyways, Lizzie, we're going to take this
9:10.
one short. Thank you very much for coming, for being the first one. Do you know what I like about people in general? It's when I text them, hey, I have this podcast, you wanna come? Sure.
Let's go.
Let's
do
go.
it.
What is this about? Doesn't matter.
We'll
come.
Yeah, we'll
Exactly.
talk about it later.
I mean, any chance to have a just self-indulgent chat about myself. I mean,
Fuck yeah.
who can say no to that?
Yeah.
No,
She needs-
you've been straight up lovely. So
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
Fab.
me.
Just another day.
Fabulous.
Right?
Fabulous.
Yeah, that's a cool thing.
Fabulous.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
Yeah, but no, that's the deal with it. And we're going to I'm going to invite you again later. When? I don't know. But
We'll
it's
do
planned.
a part 2.
Yes.
For
That's
sure.
the whole idea. Like I'm doing a first run like in the Portuguese part and the English event. The English is going to be like only a few for now. There's a friends coming from France for the next episode, and then maybe 1 or 2 that I'm thinking about. So the English part is not something that I'm going,
Nice.
Yeah.
To incorporate.
But about the Portuguese one, the first run that I'm doing right now, it's like inviting.
He's doing. I'm not doing
No,
anything.
so far because I'm inviting people that I know, So that's going to be the first run. Because who else can you bring to something that you start? Just bring your friends. It's
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
the easiest way. The second run, it's
the
going to be
easiest way.
yeah. Second,
Sorry.
yeah. Second part is
on.
going to be like people that I don't really know or so. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's good. It's good to use your immediate community first, and then that
Yes.
person then might have a suggestion,
And people can
then it
promote
grows,
themselves, Even there is only like a few views here, like 200 in the both
Yeah.
videos. At least 200 people saw elizabethprentis.com.
Right? Absolutely. And if you want to come to a workshop for some ceramica erotica, flick through some vintage porn magazines and make some,
I could
ceramics
fit in with my
response.
mustache now. Like, could I fit in a vintage porn with my mustache?
Yeah, but I don't want to see it.
Oh shit! No, Lizzie, don't say that to me.
So the sunglasses.
Lizzie's
are
ruthless.
Yeah.
With the moustache and the sunglasses, it's
What? Did I look like an Italian porn star from the 80s or 90s,
This
maybe?
is the 80s for sure.
Thank you.
There you go.
That was the old deal.
That's the aim.
And there is a purpose for this room that I'll tell you after this. Anyways.
Oh, she's sassy.
Well, no, there is no thing as behaving in language with Lizzie, right? If you have to say, you say it. Fuck it.
There you go, straight up.
Especially when you have to send them home. Anyways. We could chat about this for the
But,
whole
I
night.
mean, I know, definitely. But yeah, that's fabulous.
Perfect, we're done
Awesome.
from here.
Word of the day, fabulous.
Fabulous,
Thank
always.
you for being here.
Thank
Yeah.
you for having me.
Then I will leave the links in the description about our main sponsor, CBWeed.
Gozei no meu CBWeed.
CBWeed, it's our main sponsor from the whole podcast for obvious reasons. And then we have my friend, first guest, Tease from Hortos, Tiago. He does all the sound thing.
Nice.
And actually, that's his microphone. He's a super
this
friend of mine.
microphone.
Yeah.
But it works.
Shit.
Shout out to Tease.
And I'll make sure to tag everyone that, you know, like, you never know who's going to see it. It's on the internet. Fuck it.
Yeah.
We're done.
We're done.
Fuck
Perfect.
yeah.
Boom, boom.
Ciao, pessoal.
Boom shakalaka.
Now we turn this into our like sex